Hello there, my name's Franz Sands and this is myboxingcoach.com. Welcome to this drills special I've got. So I posted the video previously and lots of people, and in fact over the years, have always asked about the drill patterns that I use in lots of the videos. And these are drill patterns that you'll find in lots and lots of boxing gyms all around the world. So what I do in today's video is take you through two of these drill patterns. I provide you with a download that lays down all of the measurements, all of the angles, so that you can recreate this in your own training space. I'll give you some tips for how to use it as well. So lots of good stuff in there. I got a bunch of questions and continue to do so that's brilliant. I mean, look, keep asking questions, keep posting questions, and it gives me plenty to then try and help you with through the videos themselves. So 3 of the questions today: one about being a southpaw or an orthodox, if you're left-handed or right-handed, and so lots of people feeling more comfortable in one or the other. I'll go through that in a little bit. Second one about learning from the internet and is it possible? And the third one about what kind of person can become a boxer. So there's 3 questions. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff in today's video. What I'm going to do first is take you through this stuff on drills and drill patterns. So have a look at this and enjoy. Cheers. Okay, drill patterns. I had a number of requests, and I have done over the years actually, to go into a bit of detail about these drill patterns that I often use in my videos that are laid down in the floor of our gym here. And today I'm going to take you through 2 of them. I want to give you an insight into what each one does. You can combine the both of them. I'll come on to that later. I'm also going to provide you with a link to a pattern that you can print off and that you can replicate either in your garage or your basement or your training space, wherever that might be. Ingeniously, I had one guy a few years ago who had a rug in his living room, and when you pull the rug back, had one of these underneath it so that he could practice in the living room and hide it away. So yeah, I'll provide that to you with all the measurements and angles. Thing about these is I use them lots with my boxers, and most boxing clubs I know, you go in and you see this type of stuff on the floor. We do as many rounds on this type of footwork drill as we would do on the bags, as we would do on shadow boxing. So why are they good? Why do they work? Well, drills work. It's about repetition. It's about consistent, deliberate and disciplined practice. It's about repeating stuff, repeating sequences so that it becomes instinctive. You get all of the muscle memory, all of the mechanics or the motor skills to move you about. You get a great guide, you get a great point of reference. You get when you've completed a move, you should be in a particular position and the lines on the floor tell you where you are. It helps you visualize sequences. Look, this is like that phrase, the training takes over. The training just took over when you hear firefighters, police officers, doctors, medics, soldiers, pilots, all these remarkable people with remarkably difficult and challenging jobs. Whenever chaos ensues, whenever most of us would panic, whenever you would have an absolute right to panic, these people say, the training just took over, and they just go through the steps, bump, bump, bump. That's what this is. That's what we do here. That's why we use drills, okay? I'm going to take you through this one first, and then I've got a little bit of a more complicated one that I'll take you through, but let's get on this one first. Okay, first thing to notice, there is a central line. Now this is my home line. This is my central point. The line goes from the toe on the front foot to the heel on the back foot, and that gives me my point of reference everything works from here, right? Then you'll notice that I have 3 lines coming across the top here. 1, 2, 3. So in boxing, I like to think of there as being 5 ranges. Number 1 is out of range. That's when you're well away from the opponent. You are both totally disengaged. Number 2 is edge of range. That is where the target is just beyond the distance of your outstretched arm. Number 3 is long range. Number 4, so long range is where you can land long range shots. Number 5 is mid range. So that's anywhere from long to the length of your upper arm away. This is mid range. That's a mid ranged hook. So is that? That's a mid ranged uppercut. Hook, hook. Okay? Or you could do that as well, just drop the elbow slightly. And then close range is everything from mid-range right up to the tip of your nose. That's close range. So these 3 lines help me simulate long, mid and close range. Or edge of range, long range, mid-range. You get it? So I can be there and I can be throwing straight shots and long hooks at long range. And then I can shift in and I can be throwing mid-range shots, and then I can move into close and I'm throwing close range shots. And obviously I can do drills that allow me to transition from each of those, all the time maintaining the line on the floor, going from my toe to my heel. Then I've got these 2 other lines. I guess these come off at quite a shallow angle. I'd say they are from the horizontal, probably 20 degrees. These allow me to complete angled side steps. So a conventional side step, which I'll show you in a bit, would mean that it assumes that the target has sidestepped with me. It assumes that the opponent has sidestepped with me and keeps my strike zone directly in front of me. An angled sidestep is where we push. That line on the floor now goes from the toe to my heel. But what it means is, it assumes that the opponent has stayed in the same position. So I may go jab, angled sidestep, 1, 2. 1, 2. Right? Same on the other side. And the distance there, I'll do measures. I'd say it's about the size of my foot. I'm in a UK size 9. 6, 8 inches. You want everything to be small, everything to be compact, because when you are out of control, your movements become more exaggerated. It takes a lot more discipline. It's much more technically challenging to do small moves. It's not once you get it there, it's more efficient. But actually, from a learning point of view, the brain just kind of goes, oh, get over there. And you know, you cover too much ground. And the whole point of this type of thing, you want to make an opponent miss, but you need to be striking. You need to be hitting the target with shots. I can't hit the target with shots if I've jumped all the way over here, because it's, you know, the opponent's still here. That's why everything's compact. And again, so the angled side step there. Okay, now that is it. That's a central line, 2 lines off at 20 degrees. 1, 2, 3. Each of those probably about 8, 10 inches maybe. So everything we do is small movements. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the slightly more complicated one. So I'll do a magic cut. Second drill. We've got 1 line going across the top. As always, we have our centre line. That's our home line. You'll notice that protrudes slightly beyond the point of the front line. Okay, I'll show you why in a sec. Then we've got these parallel lines running each side, about 8 to 10 inches. And then we've got these diagonal lines there that comes off from that center point at 45 degrees. Same on the other side. And then we've got this other line coming off here. So from the horizontal, yeah, I'd say 35 degrees. If I take the horizontal as there, I'll do the angles on the download that I'll put a link to below. And again, we've got a line going across there. Right. First one, side steps, dead simple. Center line, jab, push across, side step. And you can see the lines there going from the toe to the heel. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. And so it went. I'm not asking you to be remarkably sort of in-depth here. This is all the basics. But 90% of what the top operators do are the basics. We just do it very well. That's it. That's what the top guys do. 90% of the stuff is the basics, executed brilliantly well. So then we have pivots. From there, we're going to do the pivot round, front foot spins round. You allow gravity to drop you back onto your back leg, but the line on the floor goes from your toe to your heel. Same on that side. Line from toe to heel. And then this line allows something called, well, it supports a fighting retreat. I did quite a long video on it. I've put a link down below. So it's from there. It's when someone's on top and you're at real close range. In order to make room for yourself, you can push there. So the opponent's still here and you've opened up room to allow you. It's an angled side step to the rear. So it's a fighting retreat. Boom. 1, 2. 1, 2. So you're just giving yourself that room whilst maintaining the integrity of the stance. And you can do it the other way as well. Okay. 1, 2. Again, attacking the center line with the line going off. Now, the more eagle-eyed of you will notice that what you can do, so we can combine these two drills. All you'd need to do from the angled side step is take a line from here to here. It might look a bit chaotic, but you know what you're looking at. So you can, this is great if you're struggling for space. You can put all of the lines in one place and you've got a hugely helpful drill pattern. And then from there out to there, you've got one of your lines going across. I forgot this top line and why this line protrudes. So stance there. This is about a Mike Tyson style angled, a Mike Tyson style stance switch. I'm not going to say this is how Mike Tyson did it, because people get very sensitive about these things. Point being, it's an angled side step. It opens up the center line for attack by hooks. From there, I'm going to pull this foot forward back to here, from that point to that point, and my rear foot will end up over there. So slow motion, what you get is, you see I've got that line on the floor now going from toe to heel. So I've switched position, giving myself a point of reference to strike with the hook. So at more speed you'd go. Now, going that way, what I'm going to do is technically change stance. I'm going to push off this leg. That foot is going to end up here. This foot is going to end up there. So what you end up is push there. So if you can see now, I'm technically in a southpaw stance if this target was there. Just so happens the target's here. So, boom, 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 boom. Yeah? That's that top line. Back to the original point. All you need to do is put another line there, and then you've got your 3 ranges all combined into one uniquely helpful drill pattern. And remember, this stuff you do as much as you do bag work, as much as you do shadow boxing. The more you practice, the better you get. Who knew? So that's the drill pattern. Download your PDF below, and I've put a bunch of links that will take you to some of the skills that we've just talked through. I hope that has been helpful. Right, so I hope that you enjoyed that, that there's something there. You can recreate that in any space, and you can get huge benefits from doing that type of drill. It just brings you on so much more quickly. Okay, on to questions. I've got 3 questions that I particularly picked up on. There was actually a ton of questions left, but I managed to identify 3 that I think I can answer. There's a couple of others that I'm going to come back to in subsequent videos, but keep asking questions and I'll try my best to answer them. First question is from someone called DFP Guitar. Okay, my question is about tips for strengthening the backhand. I am right-handed but feel more comfortable in a southpaw stance. In orthodox stance, both hands feel weak. My southpaw stance, the jab, or the lead hand, the right hand feels great. The left feels weak. So tips for strengthening. Okay, let me explain my philosophy for southpaw and orthodox. If you are right-handed, if you write with your right hand, if you throw a ball with your right hand, then you should be an orthodox boxer. You should learn the skills in orthodox. This is just my philosophy. I'm sure other coaches might differ, but I'm just telling you how I've always done it. If you're left-handed, you should absolutely 100% train as a southpaw. Now, there is an argument for right-handed people to train or to learn as southpaws, and that argument goes that as a southpaw you have particular advantages, more tactical advantages, because orthodox boxers meet southpaw boxers so much more rarely than it is an advantage from a tactical point of view for the southpaw, because they're just more used to orthodox boxers. Interestingly, I think it was in the previous Olympics, last Olympics, I think out of say 12 of the winners, 9 of them were southpaw. So bear in mind that only 1 in 9 people is left-handed. So there's something odd there. Either lots of countries are training righties as southpaws, or they are just disproportionately successful. Could be either. So bottom line is, if you're right-handed, train as an orthodox or learn as an orthodox. Nothing stopping you then developing your switch hitting capabilities, learning more of the southpaw stance. Let me just point something out. All people who are new to boxing, if you're right-handed, the natural thing to do is want to lead with your right hand. I don't know why, probably something to do with the fact that you put your strongest, your dominant side towards the threat. It's counterintuitive, but I would coach you to lead with the left. All righties are the same when they start. So be an orthodox, learn in orthodox stance, get comfortable. That's step number 1. Step number 2, the vast majority of problems with people's backhand is under rotation. It's just a massive problem. 90% of rear hand punching problems are due to under rotation, and under rotation is generated in one of 2 ways. Either there's not enough drive off the back leg, so the hips just stay where they are, or the front leg locks. The front leg must bend to accommodate hip rotation. The front leg locks, and that prevents hips rotating. That is almost universally the problem people have with the rear hand. So look at yourself in the mirror. Are you rotating properly? If not, it's a technical problem in terms of feeling powerful through using that right hand. It's a technical problem. It's not a how many kilos of a dumbbell you can lift. Okay, hope that helps. Second one is from someone called West Cleveland Original. Brilliant name. Fran, do you think that someone can actually learn boxing without going to a gym to be trained? Can someone really learn from the internet? Number one, if you are going to exchange punches with people, if you intend to compete, if you intend to even spar with sort of friends or whatever it might be, you must go to a gym. You must be under the supervision of a coach. Non-negotiable. Any competitive desire, go to a gym, find a good gym, find a good coaching setup. There's nothing wrong with augmenting your learning in the gym with videos from the internet and understanding, but it needs to really fit in with the philosophy of the coach. And, you know, point being, you can't learn competitive fighting off the internet. You can learn lots of the techniques, tactics, skills, but actually you need a coach to make that work for you. Fitness, can you learn from the internet? Absolutely, 100% yes. It takes longer without the feedback, the immediate feedback of an expert coach. You will take longer to develop your skills. You need to develop some self-coaching ability, and that's all done. That's all doable. You can get that done. That's not a problem. The issue you've got to be careful is that you don't get ingrained habits into your style. Now, what I'd say about online stuff, now the interesting thing, the big opportunity with online coaching, online learning, is your ability to, so my ability as a coach to put something in a really structured format. Okay, so all my stuff on YouTube, it's a bit here, there and everywhere. That's the nature of YouTube. But for instance, I have a couple of products. My introductory product, let's say, for instance, boxing training. This is not a sales pitch. Boxing Training Foundation. Well, I put a lot of effort into putting that into the perfect structure that I think the first 8 or 10 skills that I would learn of a new boxer, how I would structure their training. If we lived in an ideal world, because I can put all of those videos in that structure, it means that you get the perfect sequence. In here, I can try my best, but, you know, life happens, as John Lennon said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. A boxer, an individual can come in and I can plan out their first, 6 months in here. But, I don't know, all kinds of things can go on that get in the way of that. So actually, there's an argument to say that learning off video is a more direct path. Certainly, it's got a huge role to play in you becoming a better boxer. Okay. Right, how can you tell? This is from someone called Amin Ryan, or Amin Ryan. How can you tell if someone is going to be a boxer or not, physically and mentally? Okay, anyone can be a boxer, anyone. We have early bloomers, we have, seeds who take much longer to blossom and to become great. Anyone can be a boxer. Physically, sometimes you'd say, oh, he's a natural or she's a natural. It's about stance, it's about natural balance, it's about ability to throw punches, fast hands, intensity. Mentally, that's about being resilient. You have to show up, you have to listen, you have to be attentive, you have to learn, you have to be able to take knocks, you have to be able to come into the gym and have the worst possible session and still show up the next day to have another session. And then obviously, look, dealing with the intensity of competition, you can have the best boxer in the world, you can look brilliant when hitting a heavy bag. Soon as someone's put in front of him, soon as someone starts trying to hit him, or her starts trying to KO them, the head goes, or the crowd gets to them, and that can be it, So anyone can do it, but there's all kinds of points along the journey that put pressure on you that would maybe mean that you need to call it a day. There was one other one just that I'm hoping to come back to, from Craig Waterhouse, honourable mention. From your perspective, what are the main differences, strengths and weaknesses between Western and an Eastern boxing style? When you say Western and Eastern, I'm going to assume you mean sort of Eastern European and Western European, because you've got Eastern European, Western European, and the US, and then you've got the Cuban style, which is kind of mixes, much of what goes on in former Soviet Union, Eastern Europe, that's built upon that, but with a whole new sort of incorporation of a lot of rhythmic options as well. I'm going to put some thought into that, Craig. I don't know, it's a bit of a challenge at this point. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed quite a long video. I hope that there's been plenty in here. I've tried to work through it as quick as I could. Download your beginner boxer toolkit. Tons of stuff in there about drills, about how to get your skills up to scratch, about how to set your training regime. Although, subscribe to my channel, share this amongst your friends if you think it's going to help them. Try and help a buddy today. Okay, my name's Fran Sands. This has been myboxingcoach.com. Thank you.